Hello, my name is Vince Urbina. I am a community forester with the Colorado State Forest Service based out of Grand Junction, Colorado, but I work all over the state. And so I get to see lots of trees in different elevations, in different locations, in different climate regimes. Today we're going to talk about tree identification and how you can start to learn about the trees in your neighborhood. I went out early this morning and I collected tree leaves so that I could talk about them for you. And the identification part of trees is pretty simple. If you are in the tree business, it's really important to know what kind of tree you're working with, what it looks like, what its characteristics are. And so when we're identifying trees, we use about 6 different things to identify a tree. Number one is the leaves. That's the most important thing. But a lot of trees look the same. So then we want to look at also the fruit, because the fruit gives it a distinctive character as well. We look at the branching pattern, we look at the bark, and we look at the overall form of a tree. So that applies to deciduous trees, trees with leaves that fall off. It also applies to conifers, trees, the leaves, the needles stay on the tree. So we're looking at five things. We're looking at leaves, fruit, branching pattern, bark, and form. So I'm going to hold up a leaf in front of you right here. This is a compound leaf. So this is the entire leaf. And these little leaves that come off of that, what we call a petiole, those are leaflets. So this is unique. There are very few trees that have a compound leaf. This one happens to be a green ash. Now green ash has 1, 2, 5 leaflets that make up the leaf. And a lot of times the back can be a different color. So in the case of a white ash, the back of the leaf is white. In the case of a green ash, both front and back are green. This is also a leaf. This is a pinnately compound leaf. This belongs to a tree we call honey locust. Both green ash and honey locust and ashes in general and honey locust in general are very popular urban trees in Colorado cities. So this is a pinnately compound leaf. This is also a compound leaf. This is green ash. This is honey locust. And so there are others that have pinnately compound leaves. There's some that even have bipinnately compound leaves, and maybe in another class we'll talk about those. And then there are leaves that have leaflets that look like a palm, so we call that palmately compound. So green ash, honey locust. Then we also have leaves that have a simple form. This is a bur oak, one of my favorite trees. Now, oak, it kind of looks like an oak. If I were to throw this up and you were to guess something, you would probably say, oak, that looks like an oak leaf. And that's what this is. This is a bur oak. Sometimes the backside of the leaf is a different color. And so that's something that we would use to identify. So this is a bur oak. This is a simple leaf. And around this, these are called lobes. And oaks have this kind of pattern for a leaf. This is also a simple leaf. This is a hackberry, another one of my favorite trees. Really a good tree for Colorado, drought tolerant, very few pest problems. So this is a hackberry. Now, notice, this is the entire leaf right here, as opposed to this green ash, which that's the entire leaf. So this is a simple, this is a compound leaf. That's the first step in identifying trees. So this tree leaf came from my neighbor's tree, and I got permission to cut it. So make sure you do that. If you go out and start cutting leaves for your collection of leaves, make sure you get permission. I'm going to show you some others when we talk about the plant press. So first step in identifying is the leaf. Now there are a number of books out there that you can acquire. One is produced by the Arbor Day Foundation, and just a second here. This is produced by the Arbor Day Foundation. This is a plant key, and you can acquire this from the Arbor Day Foundation. You would use this to identify trees by going out and keying them out. This is another good book. Comes from Utah. This is also a plant key. And the beauty of these books is they give you pictures on what the shapes of the leaves look like, what the fruit looks like, and sometimes you'll even get pictures of trees, and you can tell by the leaf, by the color and the bark what it is. So the important thing to remember is all trees are different. They have unique characteristics. They have unique leaves, unique fruit, unique branching pattern, a unique bark, and a unique form, and we use all of those characteristics to identify trees. Now, one thing that my son did when he was in 4-H is he was in the weed program. But the weed program is no longer offered in 4-H, which I was surprised and a little disappointed because I thought it was great. My son got a lot out of it. And what he made for his projects was a plant press. Now, a plant press is easy to make. If you go on the internet, you can just type in plant press and you'll get all kinds of pictures, really fancy ones. I made one really simple, and here's what it looks like. So the parts of a plant press, 2 boards. This particular board is like plywood. It's 11 by 14. I cut it out just the other day. Those are bungee cords that you would use to tie it all together. And this is what's inside. 2 pieces of cardboard, one on either side, and a piece of newspaper. That's it. That's all you need. So you can go out, you can collect your branch sample, put it between that piece of paper and that cardboard. Make sure you label it, where you got it, what day you collected it, what you think it might be. If you know what it is, write it down on the newspaper. Later on, you're probably going to want to mount that, and then you'll definitely put all kinds of information. So I went out this morning and I collected this branch. This is hackberry. Hackberry, we talked a little bit about it. It's got a simple leaf. The arrangement on the leaf, on the branch, is alternate. That's another clue to identify it. And I put it in between the paper and the cardboard. I'll put it in my plant press. In about a week, it'll be dry, and then I can mount it on paper, and then I'll have a sample of a leaf, a label, and all kinds of information. So you can use this for classes, for teaching others how to identify trees. You can show the differences between leaves. Really useful way of identifying trees and keeping the sample for many, many years. Once it's dry, you can have it for a long, long time. So, plant press, piece of cardboard, one on either side, newspaper. Put it in the plant press, bungee cord, pretty simple. Good way to press plants. Now, there are lots of things that you can press in addition to tree leaves. You can press shrubs, flowers. My son did weeds, and then for his project in 4-H, he had a huge collection of weeds. They were all labeled, where he got them, what the name of the plant was, both common name and scientific name. So there's a lot of things you can do with tree leaves. Excuse me. I collected these. Here's a sample of honey locusts. Aren't those beautiful? Really green. That's a pinnately compound leaf. I collected these. These are bur oak. So there are lots of leaves that you can collect and build up your samples. I don't know if there are classes out there that require plant pressing leaves, but it's a really good way to learn about trees and compare them one to another. So that's all I have. Appreciate you listening.